Huge matchup this weekend with the second seed in the AFC on the line between the Dolphins and those Bills that Hawk just talked about. Lots of injuries heading into Sunday night in South Florida. Let's start with Jalen Waddle.
Well, Kevin, he did not practice again today for a second straight day. Now, they're not giving up hope yet that he can't be out there on Sunday night against the Buffalo Bills, and tomorrow will go a long way towards determining his status and whether he's got any chance to play on Sunday night against the Bills. But right now, it's a second straight day of no practice for Waddle. You look at some of the other Dolphins' notable injuries. Tua Tagovailoa, full practice today, so he looks like he's ready to go on Sunday night despite that shoulder injury. No practice again today for Raheem Mostert, who missed last week. That's problematic and worrisome. No practice for Xavier Howard. Foot injury, problematic and worrisome as well. So there we go with some of the Dolphins' injuries here going into Sunday night. Now, Josh Allen was a full participant in practice today for a second straight day, despite the fact that he has a neck and finger injury. So he is tracking right now to be ready to play. It will be Josh Allen. It will be Tua Tagovailoa. And we'll see if there are other players around them to join the fun on Sunday night.
Okay, Schefter, stand by. Let's dig into this, Let's dig into this with some research. The Bills are on a 4-game winning streak, but that star wide receiver, Stefon Diggs, unusually quiet during the streak. He's averaged less than 32 receiving yards per game over the last month, his fewest in any 4-game span since his rookie season back in 2015. He's actually been targeted more frequently, but the connection has not been there, as he's caught only 55% of the passes thrown his way. That connection, there's a lot going on, Hawk. What concerns do you have about the lack of production from Diggs so far?
I have zero concerns. I actually appreciate the fact they're not forcing him the ball at this juncture in the season. I get what people say. They say, okay, the reps are down. They're putting Gabe Davis back, getting him more looks. They're getting Khalil Shakir more looks. They're running the football a lot more. And all those things are good because Joe Brady is just better at situational play calling than his predecessor was. And that's a fact of the matter. So he is not forcing touches to Stefon Diggs. The first time these two teams matched up, it was very clear. You stop Stefon Diggs, you stop this offense. That is no longer the case, and that's a good thing because they're going to need Diggs down the stretch into the playoffs, and the only way that they'll be able to get defenses to play them straight up is to show that they have other viable weapons at wide receiver and that they have a sound running game and that their number one receiver is actually just the person that's open.
Yeah, Hawk, you make a great point when you say they're not forcing him the football, and it raises interesting questions for Vic Fangio, the Dolphins defensive coordinator, because a previous version of this Buffalo Bills offense, the version they saw earlier in the season when Stefon Diggs went crazy, the game plan would have been simple. Put Jalen Ramsey on Stefon Diggs, shut him down. You got injuries in the front and on the back end, but if you can shut down Stefon Diggs, you got a shot. But if they do that, and that's not typically what Fangio does with his defenses, as you just said, the Bills will run the ball. They'll throw to James Cook. They'll use the tight ends. They'll come out in 12 personnel. Knox, Kincaid will get the football. So I think for Vic, it raises some questions about how best to deploy Jalen Ramsey in this game. I think it actually does not make sense to just ask him to shut down Stefon Diggs and that part of the field. I actually would think it might be helpful to put him in that star position he played in Los Angeles so he's on the ball more and can affect the game more. It is quite a challenge given some of their injuries, but Jalen Ramsey is playing really, really good football right now, and I think there's an opportunity for Vic to use him to impact this game more.
Yeah, to Mina's point, Joe Brady, since he took over as the OC back in Week 11, the Bills have run the ball at the highest rate in the NFL. With that in mind, Hawk, then, how would you use Jalen Ramsey?
You keep him on one side of the field. I mean, it's funny because in the first game, we begged the Miami Dolphins to have a corner, Xavier Howard, follow Stefon Diggs. They didn't do that, and Stefon Diggs went crazy. To Mina's point, this is a completely different offense, and the Miami Dolphins are a completely different defense now. So with Jalen Ramsey, you have to just keep him on one side of the field because you actually put your defense at a disadvantage if you were having him following a player that might not be the focal point of the offense anymore.